It's so great to meet you. I've been having just a hoot and a holler going through your stand-up, and I just know we'll get along. So I've been looking
Oh,
forward
thanks.
to
Thanks. I have no other life skills, so that's
this.
it.
Girl, you and I both pretty much. So we're just doing our best out here in this life. Now, we're really excited for you to come back to New England, our neck of the woods. You're going to be in Portsmouth for two amazing shows at Cisco Brewers November 22nd and 23rd. But April, you're a busy woman. You have a bunch of shows after that. So I'm curious, what do you love the most about being out and about on tour?
I feel like you get the opportunity to see places in the world you would never normally get to go to. Like I slept in Saddam Hussein's palace years ago. Yeah, and like I went to Iraq and I was entertaining, and I'm like, you would never normally be like, hey, I'm having a sleepover at Saddam's house. So just the opportunity to travel and make people laugh and do what you love for a living, I think is pretty cool.
100%. And I know you're a world traveler, so I'm glad you brought that up. Last I checked in your Instagram bio, it says you've been to 81 countries. Is that still accurate?
It is 81, and I'm adding, my husband and I are doing Rio, and so I'm adding Brazil, Panama, and Colombia for the new year. So it'll
That
be
is
up to 84.
that is amazing, April. Have you always loved traveling, or is this something you started enjoying when you started comedy?
I think like obviously you have more means to afford it later on, and I'm like a weird couponer with travel points and like miles. And when comics say they like don't fly one airline, I lose my mind. I'm like, that's
Got to get
yeah,
them
yeah.
points.
I feel like it's the piecing it together. It's like a little bit of a puzzle that I find enjoyable, and then being able to do it with miles and do it cheap is always super satisfying.
Oh, good for you. I think that's so cool. Is there a place that you're still dying to go that you haven't been to yet?
Oh, there's a lot. I feel like I can't do like a Groupon for a safari
Yeah.
or for you don't want to have the cheap lion hunt.
No.
The not that I would hunt, but
Fair. I
I
know
would
what
do
you
the
mean though, girl.
Maldives. Safari.
Yeah.
I would do the Maldives. I do want to do more Southeast Asia, more Africa. What else is on that? I feel like I've crossed off a lot of
So
I feel like a lot of
cool.
South America. I would do Chile, Argentina. I still want to cross off.
Hell yeah. Well, you still got plenty of
Uh,
time, April.
yeah.
Now, going back to the early 2000s, for people who don't know, you were a finalist on a show called Last Comic Standing, which is
Oh
just
my God. Yeah.
iconic. How did that experience kind of shape your career and your approach to comedy?
I think I got it really early, so I was super fortunate because I started making a living after about 4 years into comedy as a headliner. And truthfully, I don't even think I had enough material where I was like, I'm cobbling together this shitty 30 minutes and this is what I got. And I'm just taking it all over town. I don't know, it was a fortunate experience. And then I just remember crying in my interview. And one of the producers was like, "You're gonna make it. You're a crier. It's good TV."
I love that about you, April. Yeah, nothing wrong with showing a little sensitivity and vulnerability as well. That's what I really loved about, which we're gonna get to, but the special you did with Tiffany Haddish, They Ready. I felt like that was a nice little look into your soul as well as your comedy.
Oh, yeah. I feel like there's not that many people in life that have been that kind of friend and that would try to pull their friends up with them. I don't know. There's something really special about it, especially in a business like this where people are awful and cutthroat and competitive. And you find that when nobody wants to be on the mountaintop alone. So it was nice that she like brought her friends to like look at the view as well. So
Very human. I loved that. It was really
yeah, it's really
cool.
sweet.
Yes. Now, one of your many accolades includes being voted the funniest and hottest comedian, and we're gonna run with that forever. I feel.
Yeah, whatever. I feel like I'm melting like a candle.
You're still the hottest, still the funniest. But back when that happened, how did you balance both of those labels being in this
Oh,
industry?
I just felt like a douche. You can't bring yourself on stage like I'm that because no one feels like that. I feel like a mangled beast most of the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
same.
We turned up the filter on this Zoom. I was like, let me just
Oh, goodness. Is she in the safari after all? No.
where is she? Where is she?
Oh, that is so cool. the funniest and hottest, still doing her thing. You have been featured on lots of shows, like, of course, the Netflix special I talked about with Tiffany Haddish, but also Bad Girls of Comedy. How do you feel the representation of women is in comedy today? Because I feel like that's
Oh,
gone a little bit.
people hate women. It's hard. It's hard. I feel like sometimes you'll look at comedy club calendars and I'll go across the country and it'll be like 72 weeks and it'll be just two women and one's a medium. So you're like, oh, you got to talk to the dead. Apparently, you got to talk to the dead if you got want to get on stage as a woman. And it's never made sense because I'm like, women are half your audience and women are essentially the social planners, I think, for most couples. Like, I don't remember the last time having a plan made for me where, you know what I mean? Like women are the ones taking out dudes and telling them to put on their pants. So you're like, why are you not catering to over half your audience? So
100%. And
yeah, just fighting out there, fighting the good fight.
someone has to, April. And not to get too dark or political, but I was really thinking and hoping that there was a change in that and that America hated women a little bit less.
No, women hate women too.
Mhm.
It's a real fun dynamic.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just gonna lean in.
Yeah.
This is what it is. It's what it
That's what we
is.
got to do at this point. Let's capitalize off of it the best we can in this life. I mean, comedy not only has changed so much, you know, gender wise, but time wise, a lot has changed. Now we have Netflix specials, now we have social media. What advice would you give to someone maybe trying to start their comedy journey now?
Oh, just quit.
While
Kidding.
you're ahead.
No, I'm kidding. No, it is very satisfying. It is very satisfying. Like I'm doing these shows and I'm also doing a Cirque du Soleil show in Vegas. Like I have a little residency and I'm like, I get to work 10 minutes a night. I feel like if you can apply, if you know you're like have some talent and you can apply yourself, like eventually you can work 10 minutes a day. It's a satisfying career. Like it's a satisfying career. It's every day feels like a snow day from school.
Terrible. That's amazing. 10 minutes a
Yeah.
day. I think I could muster that together if
Two
I had
shows, 10 minutes. So totally like maybe 20, 25 full
20
minutes of
That's fair.
employment. Yeah.
That must be so cool though, working with Cirque du Soleil. How did that come about?
I got a call from Brad Garrett on New Year's Day, and I just I felt cool. I was like, I love Everybody Loves Raymond. Like it was a cool thing. And no, I've just keeps doing more weeks, and I follow a woman who spins from her head like a centrifuge, just this magical unicorn, and then my dumb head pops out.
You're like, here's the clown, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Da.
That is awesome. And it's cool that you've been able to take your comedy into settings like that where you might not expect to see a comedian. That's awesome.
No, I know it's fun. It's fun to be surrounded by other people that have other different talents. It's super
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome. Now, another thing I love about you is you are not afraid to clap back on a troll on the internet. I've seen some of your posts and they're always hilarious. So, do you have any advice to people who can't take that as well? Maybe need a little bit thicker skin from people on the internet being mean to them.
It does hurt. Like I feel like sometimes my husband's like, "Don't read them, don't read them." I'm like, "Well, sometimes they're fun to write back to because it's so foolish." And I guess it's not taking pleasure in the fact that but I'm like, these people aren't either they're not well or they're not happy. And I'm like, dude, I'm floating in a pool of flowers. Like, ain't nothing gonna change that telling wiener jokes for 10 minutes. Like they can if they would pour, I feel like what's sad is if you would pour as much into themselves and into liking themselves and working on maybe some sort of craft, you wouldn't have the extra energy for the hate. So I think they're just creatures of pity. Like, so, and sometimes I do get mean. I'll blow up their own faces and I just DM them back to them because you're like, why not? No
Some days
explanation.
I have
Just
time.
your own face. Just here's your face.
Yeah. And that's all you need sometimes. That is
Nothing
important.
else. No words.
Someone who's having like a great, fulfilling life isn't doing that, look, writing
No,
those negative comments. So it's
no.
like you're 100% right. Anyone doing that, they've got their own thing going on, and
Yeah.
those wiener jokes will continue to pay off for you.
Yeah. Wiener jokes. There's always more wiener jokes to be had.
And it's really the gift that keeps on giving, April. Now,
Thank you.
you gave a great TEDx talk about turning pain into humor, which this seems like a really great time for America to hear that lesson. So, what is something you do to navigate that in your own life? Any advice for turning thinking of
Extensive therapy.
that? Yes.
This was years of just figuring it out. And like I had a pretty awful childhood, but I think if you can spin that, like there's always something to take from every situation, whether it's good or bad. There's always something like that you can learn and that can propel you forward. I don't know. I guess I'm also blessed to have like great friends that I'm surrounded by positive people. So I think you just have to, if you're in just a pile of shit or crabs in a bucket, you got to remove yourself from that situation to like find some happiness.
Yes, I think it's really cool hearing that coming from you because a lot of people like to use their past trauma or childhood
Yeah.
as a crutch or reason for being a certain type of way. And you're a great example of turning your hardships as a child to something hilarious and fun. And you're just making those
If
wiener
I was
chicks.
like if I were a drug addict, prostitute, you'd be like, I get it. I get
Yeah,
it. That's
understood.
that was their past, but I didn't. So
Proud of
just
you.
jokes, spun it into wiener jokes.
Yeah, it's better than heroin, April. So
That's
take
what I think.
100%.
That's hard to kick.
Well, last but certainly not least, here in the state of Maine, our state motto is the way life should be. So I would love to know, according to you, April, what is the way life should be?
I believe in a lot of balance. Like I feel like it should be half work. I feel like for me, my ideal balance would be like 4 months of circus, 4 months of on the road, 4 months of just sitting and sipping Aperol spritzes overlooking some olive grove in a vineyard. And I think taking the time for friends and people you enjoy, I think that's the way it should be. Just living, what is it? Live to work, not work to live.
Yeah.
Live to work. What
Live to work. Work.
live work to live. Work to live, not live to work.
That sounds right. Are you a
That's why
Libra?
I travel. That's why I travel.
What's your sign,
I'm
April?
working to live. What?
What's your sign?
Libra. I like a solid amount of balance.
Yes. Oh, look at you matching your stars. Yes, she loves balance. And I do think that is so important in this life, especially in America. We can get very consumed with working and just being in that nonstop hustling mode. And sometimes it's not worth
Sometimes
it.
you just sit and sip.
Mm.
Sometimes you just gotta sit and sip.
Sit and sip. Well, I cannot wait for all of us to sit and sip with you November 22nd and 23rd. You're going to be at Cisco Brewers in Portsmouth. So everyone get your tickets. I know it's going to be a hoot and a holler, April.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you. It was honestly so, so great to meet you. And thank you for making us
And I'll see
laugh.
you. I'll
Oh,
see you in 2 weekends.
see you in a few weekends, April. Take care.